Well, it's time to talk about Halloween film and fun and mirth. And there's only one person to do that with, Paulo, whose life's a movie.
From the legendary Warner Fez Studios in a predominantly white neighborhood, Warner Fez presents Showtime with the Paulo.
Hey, Paulo, your life's a movie.
Paulo, your life's a movie. How are you?
Great, Paul. How are you? Life's a movie.
I'm putting my affairs in order, so other than that.
How many people you having affairs with right now?
I'm not having an affairs. I'm actually continuing a good relationship with my ex, but I'm putting my affairs in order. I'm not having affairs. Did I lose you?
No, we're right here.
Okay, fine. Well, and obviously, I'm going to be probably thrown out of the mansion in the next couple of weeks. I figured I'd call, and say hello, and because Ron, you're probably the only one who knows how long I've been involved with the show, and so I kind of feel like I'm coming to an end to a certain degree. So I figured I should at least put out a wave goodbye, so to speak, because I don't know what's going to happen to me.
So what do you think is going to happen, Paul?
Well, okay, my plan is hopefully to conserve funds. I'm probably going to live in my car for a while because, I do have a job and everything else, but I'm working hard, I'm writing, I'm trying to do a lot of things. I just, I just don't have a very good feeling that I can last much longer, that's all.
Is the writing a job or a pastime?
It's a job. It's not the job that I work at a job where I can do some writing, but that is something that I'm setting my goals on it. A problem is it's me and my partner, we're just two small guys. We work with big producers, but, we're not getting the proper respect overall, having worked with them the last couple of years, and so,
Has anyone ever paid you for your writing, Paul? From time to time, but not the script so far. We're just trying to get these things done. No, we're not. We haven't been paid, even though we've written a number of scripts for producers, right? Which is not the way things are supposed to be done, but this is the way things happen. They're spec scripts, of course. So you're writing spec scripts for people,
right? And we have something up on the blacklist. We had that sitcom project, so we have a lot of things going on. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Why don't you spread your eggs around a couple different baskets?
Well, I wish I could. I'm working hard. I'm thinking of some other options, but right now I'm dealing with this issue of putting my affairs in order for right now, and then we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, I am getting interested in the Oscar season. By December, all the lists will be coming out, so I definitely will be looking at all. To me, Birdman is the movie of the year.
I've seen Birdman. Chris, you've seen Birdman, right?
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
Do you agree with movie of the year?
It's my favorite movie of the year so far, but there's still Inherent Vices supposed to come out. There's still 2 months of movies to come out.
Absolutely. There's no question that we still have 2 months or more to make decisions, but I just can't see anything beating it at this point. And Inherent Vices, I'm dying to see Inherent Vice. I absolutely can't wait to see that.
Personally, I think I like Boyhood better than Birdman.
I haven't seen Boyhood yet. I have it on my computer. I haven't watched it yet.
Ugh.
Don't be so disgusted.
I like Boyhood as a concept, and the thing is that Richard Linklater is a little bit of a slacker in the way he approaches. The tour de force that is Birdman is it couldn't be a more different film than Boyhood. They're just polar opposites in every way and approach.
So you loved Birdman. Chris, did you?
Yeah, I love Birdman, yeah. I loved it.
I don't think I loved it. I think I liked it. I thought it was bizarre. There were one of the two things that disconnected me. A couple of the performances. But overall, I thought it was good and interesting and a real really chancy. I don't know if it came through for me, though.
Well, part of the problem is it's not an Oscar type movie because if it is anything, it's a comedy. I mean, and Oscar doesn't like comedy.
Did you laugh?
Yeah, I laugh, but I mean, it's clearly dark and disturbed, and the whole. It's not like a laugh out loud comedy. It's not designed to be a comedy, but
so it's a laugh inside. I think if you're not laughing, I wouldn't call it a comedy.
I generally don't laugh at any of the comedies that come out anymore.
Wow, jaded.
Are you writing comedies with your partner?
But unfortunately, I tend to not write comedies because I find comedy is hard. Even though he's done a lot of we work in partnerships and we work separately, and I don't think he has the funny bone. And so I will say, oh no, you need to put this in and you need to put that in, and he doesn't always do that. But
I'll say, you need to put this in. He goes, no, I'm taking that out. I'm putting this in. And I go, well, what about this? He goes, I already told you I was doing that.
I had a whole closet full of this that I wanted to put in. And he said, no, because he'd get worried about structure and format and all of that. And then sometimes funny doesn't fit in the.
Does he sell anything?
We are, as I say, the producers that we work with are always, I mean, to one extent you could say we're being used. That's definitely true. Because we're just little peons, little cogs at this level. We really should have proper representation, which we don't have.
Who would represent you? You guys don't even live in L.A.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of creative people who live all over the place now. I mean,
name one.
Name one. I mean, there's people obviously the more successful you are, but there are many film directors and writer-directors that work out of Texas, or they work out of New York, or they work out of
yeah, but
Florida.
they make things.
Bang Brothers are out of Florida. I think they're in Miami.
They're still going strong.
I mean,
bangbros.com.
Did Big Easy get himself some za?
He did. And I've heard reports that there is candy up there. I'm sending him up there to find it and bring some down for us.
Now, who are you hearing the reports from?
Sam Roberts. He sent me a text. There's totally candy up there. So he's on a mission, a candy mission.
Candy?
Get some candy, Big Easy.
Candy, you're a fine girl.
Leslie Coffin has put up on the iBang. It's
Coffin.
Scary name. So this is the latest edition, Volume 7 of Add It to Your Queue. This is alternate horror for Halloween.
Let's stop reading it and just let's start a conversation. It's up on the iBang, and this is horror films that are considered the big, famous horror films, right?
Yeah.
Do you have one like that, Chris, that doesn't fall into the Hitchcock, the Kubricks?
I got one that came out this year. It was a tiny little horror / sci-fi film called Coherence. It was like in and out theaters. There's only a couple theaters, and it is a scary film if you watch it.
What's the name of it?
Coherence.
Did you see this, Polo?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is that there are so many small independent horror films being made. And I mean, even the big ones like Ouija opened at #1, and it got slammed by the critics. But you know what? It was a nice, perfectly enjoyable and scary horror film with teenagers. And, we used to get a lot of those in the 80s.
You know, this is the weird thing about horror films. It may be the only genre that you can really miss bad, and yet still hit enough there to meet the criteria of what it takes to work for your audience.
Look at Paranormal Activity.
Perfect example.
Awful movies. This is really, really bad.
And yet there's some people who are like, I can't wait for the next Paranormal Activity.
There's like 6 of them. Saw. All the acting's bad. They're bad movies. There's like 8 of them.
When I heard, what's his name, Jermaine Lassier talking about Saul the other day, as if it's a good thing, I'm really lost now, dude. Like, I'll get you somewhat on fighting for Chris Nolan and Batman.
Yeah.
But Saul?
No, they're bad movies. I've rewatched them. And they're just like, wow.
Yeah, Yeah, Saw is re-released in theaters this week. I mean, because obviously they always release a Saw at Halloween or something like it, but they're re-releasing the original Saw.
Make sure you saw it. Saw. Give me another one of these movies, Chris.
Here's another one. The Host. That was a Korean film.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was huge in Korea. It was like one of the top grossing movies ever there, and the director is very heralded. But it's like a monster. That's more of a monster film, and it's a foreign film, but people love it.
I like I like the idea of a monster better than a slasher. I just don't get why you want to watch a slasher film.
People love them. People just love. They love like a maniac, like some guy who's like lost his mind. And
He's a maniac. What are we hearing on the Condi?
He's not returned yet.
If he comes back with a bag of circus peanuts, I'm going to call him a rock star. Coming up in just a half hour, it's the Dick Cavett Unmasked. He's got a new book out, Brief Encounters, Conversations, Magic Moments, and Assorted Hijinks. Dick Cavett in a half hour, and then, of course, throughout the weekend.
And then next is Sunshine.
Hey, Paulo.
Yes.
You sound better now than when you first called.
Well, I honestly put my life in the hands of Jesus every day, so I have to go along with whatever is happening. It's His decision. I mean, it's not mine, so I really can't do anything but just do the best I can under the circumstances.
Jesus wants you to work and get a real job and pay your bills.
True. That would be a good... Well, I mean, right now...
then you wouldn't have to worry about living in your car. I knew you for years, Polo. You worked. You had a couple of houses.
Yes.
You didn't need a thing.
Right. I always worked hard. I dealt with all the problems, but unfortunately, because of my bad luck with a certain person over the years, she put me in huge debt, and
I remember telling you when it was happening.
Yeah, I know. But nonetheless, so I'm still sort of dealing with all of that. That's the
you go bankrupt.
Because I don't know how that works, but I'm paying off a tax debt as much. I don't think you can you can go bankrupt with the tax stuff.
Yeah, you probably can't. Uncle Sugar wants his money.
As a matter of fact, I do know if it was over $10,000, you can usually get some forgiveness, but I think I've already paid it down because when I sold my house, I took a huge loss, and that knocked it down. So, now I have less than 10, so they probably won't give me any forgiveness. But nonetheless, I try to keep a cheery face. I'm certainly not going to kill myself, though I know how I would do it if I was going to do it.
Here's James. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hello?
What's up?
I was just calling. I used to work for a utility company, and I don't think Fez is being honest with you guys.
Why is that?
Well, according to New York state law, they have to have his power back on in 24 hours.
I was thinking the same thing, because, what if he had little babies in there? Or what if this was the winter? They can't do that.
They told me
legally.
They told me on the phone they would be out there in the next 24 hours. They had told me originally it would be 8 a.m. the next morning. I said, that's fine. It got to be past 10 o'clock. I left, and I haven't heard from them since. And I have to call them and see when they're showing up. They just give me this ambiguous in the next day.
Well, yeah, you have to have your utility breaker, your circuit breakers off, and they have to have access to your meter. And if they don't do it within 24 hours, you can call
He's got one fistful of Condi. And what are we looking at here?
We got some Snickers. We got some Butterfingers. Looks like some Reese's peanut butter cups.
There's 6 pieces of candy.
You have pockets, Big Easy? For the love of God. It should have taken 7 texts to get a handful of candy.
I don't know what happens with this team, but it's actually... I know there's a new candy out called the Butterfinger Cup. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Well, you can't even read off that thing without it being a struggle. But the Butterfinger Cup takes the Reese's Cup, but inside it's Butterfinger.
That's interesting.
Yeah, real interesting.
I like a Butterfinger.
Brian, Strong Island. Brian, go ahead, buddy.
Ronnie, how you doing?
Good.
Great show this morning.
It really was, wasn't it?
It was good. I've got a question. Why does Fez always go negative? I have a feeling he doesn't watch stuff, so he doesn't have to comment on the show. And then when there's a great article about gays taking over the world, no mention of it. The CEO of Apple came out as gay, and not a peep from Fez.
I thought that was a wonderful thing. He wrote the essay on Bloomberg Business Week.
It would have been great if you mentioned it.
You see what he's saying?
But if he was getting beat up, you would have been leading with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just didn't bring it up.
You should bring it up, is what he's saying.
It's a good thing. It's a positive thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
It's wonderful.
But nobody would have heard it without you.
You would have brought it. You wouldn't have brought it up. You didn't bring it up. If he got beat up, you would have been crying and screaming that he was gay. You see my point?
Yeah, I fucked up. I'm
not trying
sorry.
to come on you. I'm just, I think you need to live your life a little more positive, and things will start to change. Stop doing this.
Brian, now, I don't know, you don't
watch it, and then you'll be able to talk about football.
You're not going to believe this, but Fez is crying right now. You got him crying.
I don't mean to make him cry. I'm just.
Why are you crying,
Fez? Things a little different.
Because if I bring up gay stuff, people get upset. If I don't bring up gay stuff, people get upset. I don't know what to fucking do.
Story. It's a happy story.
It's a happy story, Fez.
We want a happy story.
I think Paul knows what I'm talking about. Just if you participate in life, you'll have stuff to talk about. That's why you were so good that week, because you were out. Paul had you out, and you were talking. But if you sit in your apartment in the dark, you have nothing to talk about.
We embrace the happy stories. That's what we look for.
The Tim Cook story is very happy. It's very exciting.
Why didn't you bring it up?
I didn't think to, because if I bring up gay stuff, people get upset.
What people?
The listeners. And I don't bring up gay stuff, so this guy gets upset.
I'm not upset. Well, that's not what I'm trying to say, Fez. I'm trying to say that if you start to participate in life...
I got called a Mo today on Twitter.
To the show. I thought you were off Twitter.
Mo, I think, was short for Mook.
I don't think so.
I think that Apple computer is a hell of a computer and a hell of an iPhone and all of that. And it's got a CEO, and he's a great guy, and isn't it a wonderful story? I mean, we could...
But here's the thing. What happened to Steve Jobs? Was he murdered by the gay guy?
I think so.
I wasn't trying to make it a gay story. I was just trying to point out a point that if something bad says it all over it, otherwise he doesn't watch football. The True Detective, he never watched it, so he didn't have to participate in the show because he didn't know about it.
I'm not watching football over a positive gay story. The gay player who made it into the NFL.
Man. You're not watching football, so you don't have to talk about it. That's why you're not watching.
See, there's no answer that's going to satisfy you, so fuck it.
Is that why you're not watching football, Fez?
No, I said on the air I'm not going to watch football until Michael Sam's legitimately on a team.
Stuff is
okay, why did you watch True Detective when the guys would talk about it every week?
I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't understand a word Matthew McConaughey was saying.
But that's what your show was going to be about, is show prep. You know what I mean?
You see, every show that I watch, I can identify with those characters. There's something that I can identify. That human quality and the existential angst that Rusty Cole would speak through in every episode, I was just riveted.
And that's what you go through all the time, Fez.
I go through it. I go through existential angst every day.
I go through the nutty in my head talk. I know that.
And that was Rusty Cole. This is a guy who would not talk to other people. Why? Because he knew they wouldn't get it. So why even try to deal with other people?
Say, Fez?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Why try with other people?
I mean, Rusty Cole, Matthew McConaughey, he is really smart, and he knew everything, but he knew he couldn't relate to other people.
Here's Jim in North Carolina.
Ron.
Yes, sir.
I got an idea. So, why don't Fezzie bring Paulo up from Florida, hire him as his manservant. He can draw his bathwater every day and pay all his bills on time and occasionally put a new centerpiece on the table.
I can work on those skills. I'm actually watching Downton Abbey now to improve my manservant skills.
Yeah.
I'm not having Paulo up to my place again. It's not happening.
The electric
come
would
on.
still be on in your apartment,
I'd rather sit in the dark than have Paulo in there in the light.
but you would have somebody to help you prep for work, bring up all the shows.
Fezzie, be a virtual
Paulo does not want to help me. He just wants to get money out of me.
I just
That's
want
been
all
proven.
His money. I want all his money.
All I can do
Thank
is
you for
write
finally
it.
admitting it.
It'd be great.
Fez, maybe if you get some of that money out of your wallet and into the power company.
The power company's been paid. They just haven't turned it back on yet.
Paulo would make sure that they did.
He could be at the house
I
and wait
would-
for them.
Yeah.
I'm what they call a fixer.
You need a fixer, dude.
You just said you're being put out of your mansion. How are you a fixer?
Well, because I don't have the proper employer. If I had the right employer who would take care of me, I'd take care of him.
Let me
I
say
feel
this
like-
to you. You move in with Fez, and there'll be time for you to do your writing. If you
Absolutely.
sell a script, would you give Fez half your profits?
I'll tell you what. If I feel that he cares enough to take care of me, I'll take care of him.
Fezzie?
No,
it's
he's
on
lying.
the line.
No,
Have him
it's
sign
not
a
on the line.
contract.
No, he's lying. If he comes up here, he's just going to bore ass me for money. He tries to play nice to make all the listeners hate me, acting like he has my best interests at heart. Go get the money from that con man partner of yours that you somehow had 10 grand to throw his way.
Because we're two little guys, I'm trying to make.
You have all the money in the world when it comes to him, but then you call this
understand.
show and act like I'm the bad guy for not giving you 10 grand myself.
Here's the thing.
I'm not doing it.
I have done this show for a long time, more than any listeners out there would likely know. And I've done it out of love and support and loyalty. I've never been paid the big bucks that you've been paid. That's all I'm saying. I've never been paid. You've been paid very well, and you're always want everybody to feel sorry for you, but you don't feel sorry.
I haven't asked anyone to feel sorry for me.
You don't feel sorry for me, as you said. I mean, I understand. That's why I'm making, I'm doing the best I can on my own, because I have no one in my life, Fez. No one.
And Fez,
I don't have
Get
any
this guy
family.
that you hand thousands of dollars to.
Yes, he's a
Go
friend.
live with him.
what
as
are
I
you guys
said.
deciding?
I'm deciding no. Final answer.
I do. I'm always easy to get along with. I'm not trying to cause any trouble.
That's
Fez doesn't
exactly
think
what
he-
you're doing. That's all you do.
No.
Is you come
You
on
don't
here and
think
say,
you need-
"Oh, I just want to help Fez. Oh, I don't want to cause any trouble." You send nasty emails behind my back, and then then you get mad at me because I'm not writing you blank checks. Forget it.
What? You don't write me. I've never.
You can't write a blank
Very
check.
simple. You don't think you need any help, but everybody. I always hear that you need help. I mean, you always say you
Your
don't need
electricity's turned off, Fez.
help. I always hear you need help, and you always say you don't need help.
I don't need your help. You're not offering help.
Right, it's me. Right. I get it. You don't need anybody's help is what you really mean. Because, in fact, Fez, the way you handle your job is to try and stay out of trouble. And I agree. And when I come on the air, naturally I call attention to you. Because I hear it all the time. And I don't even want to call attention to you. I
Oh,
want to help you.
please.
But you
This
want
is-
to fight with me.
This is how
I'm not
you
trying
try to
fight with
stay relevant. This is how you try to stay on the air.
I don't want to. I mean, in fact, that's not what I was trying to do. I don't want to stay relevant because I know I'm on the way out. I know I'm making plans. I'm putting my affairs in order because I realize that
Don't
life
say that, Paul.
has, fucked me over. I'm not even bitching about it. I know it. I'm not even worried about it anymore. You should be putting your affairs in order because you have huge health problems. But I don't think you can think in terms of that anymore. I just think you're in terms of just making sure you go to the doctor every day, and that's your main concern, and I can even understand that. I'm not your enemy.
So-
That's the problem. But you make me your enemy.
Are you guys going to move in together?
No.
Fix each other a little bit? Two halves, make a whole? He needs a job. You need somebody to look after you.
I don't need him. He's not here to look after me.
Can I just ask this? If you move in with him, even if it's just for this winter, would you be willing to shave him in the morning?
Yes, of course.
Fez, you'll have somebody to shave you.
I don't want him shaving me. He'll slit my throat and try to take my bank account.
Nothing. That sounds like something that an old white grandmother would say. By the way, when he put the yin and the yang up, did that hurt you?
I can't look at black and white stuff, that contrast. It makes me...
Look there, though, but look.
I don't know
it's
what.
barely doing anything.
Stop. It gives me vertigo, and I don't even understand why it makes me nauseous.
We're up high.
Oh, God. It gives me like a crazy splitting headache.
Let's do this. What's the minimal you would want Paul to come up for? Because he's being pushed out of his apartment. If he could stay with you until he has a place, and you can pay him just enough to make a good living. You know what I mean?
None of that is happening. He's not. He's getting 0 days, $0 from me.
Give him a stipend.
Well,
could you do
first
it till
of all,
spring?
Fez, how long have we known each other, Fez? How long?
2 years, I think.
It's longer than that.
Well, this is interesting. 2 years. We know each other 2 years. Is that what you're saying?
Now that I've learned the real you.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're
This is like, move in, it'll be like driving Miss Crazy.
You're saying I was a different person 3 years ago than I was 2 years ago, is what you're saying. So you knew a different Paul.
I'm saying go run your con somewhere else. Or go to the con man that you work with.
Listen, the fact is, will you do one thing for me? Will you pay for my funeral so you can dance on my grave?
Don't do that. That's disgusting.
Wow.
To dance on a man's grave?
That's what he said the last time we talked.
That would be the one. That would be the one investment worth it.
Yes, I understand. You see, the point is that everybody says.
At least I get returns on that polo investment.
Look, I understand why you're angry because when I show up, I'm calling attention to Fez. I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm really not. But the fact is that you've called attention to yourself for years now, and I wanted to help you. You don't understand.
No, you didn't. I believed that at first. You don't.
No, because you think. You realize you have gotten rich over
You're the sitcom guy, Fez. You should finance a sitcom.
Yeah.
I didn't say finance. I said try and help me get,
Help him get a sitcom. This is a way for you to get your creativity out there, Fez.
I wouldn't want to introduce him to anyone I knew or didn't know.
Well, I will blame Jay Moore for not calling me back. I will blame him.
Jay's a very busy man, and he's a very, very successful man.
I understand. And
he got the script, and maybe he just felt like it didn't work for him.
I understand. I just thought he could be a producer and be great. But nonetheless, Fez...
You should go live with him and ask him for money.
No, the point is, Fez, is that you think I am been doing the show. I'm not even going to say the number of years. It's more than anybody probably realizes. And you say you only know me for 2 years, but you really know me for a very, very long time.
To me, that has nothing to do with it.
Where's this going? Are you going to at least invite him up until he finds a place?
No, I'm not. I don't want anything to do with him.
Because I call attention to Fez. If I'm on the air... Fez is going to be in the spotlight.
Can I just say something though, Fez, since he called in today? Most of you have done the air all week. He gets you going.
He gets me into a point where I'm angry and I'm not supposed to get this pissed.
Yeah, you shouldn't get pissed. You should just say, Paul, come on up. Let's stay for a while, see how it works. You know what I mean?
Right.
See if some of these scripts sell.
I'll do anything.
They're not going to sell. They're shit.
If you want to ride me piggyback down the street, I'll do that.
Do it. You'd have somebody to ride piggyback.
Sounds fun.
It's only fair you're trying to do it to me financially.
See, that's a good one, Fed. That's a good one.
Well, Fez, I thought you were going to set up the Leslie thing. That turned into a lock, but here you are improvising. And I think that's kind of... good. Mike in Boston, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Fez, you're full of fucking shit. You just said you don't feel sorry for yourself. You don't feel bad for yourself. When just a couple of months ago, you're screaming on air, don't let them do this to us, Ronnie. Fuck you, Fez.
I remember that. You're basically saying the same thing that Paulo was saying.
I never said I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I said I'm not telling other people to feel sorry for me. I never said I didn't feel sorry for myself. I didn't say I wasn't depressed.
Don't let them do this to me, Fez.
Why do you feel sorry for yourself, Fez?
Because to me, that's what a depression is, where you get into a thing where you don't feel anything's ever going to go right.
Well, this has been going right. You got maybe a new roommate.
Not in Polo, I don't.
A fixer. You know what?
You're a breaker.
Ask
your first wife.
What is the name of this power company? Can we say the name of the power company?
It's Con Ed.
Con Air? Con Ed?
Yeah, it's Con Air. I get my power from a Nicolas Cage movie. Idiot.
Seriously, that was the best fucking thing you've said in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I lived in New York. But all right, so I'll go to this Ed guy and I'll straighten him out.
Wow, this is amazing news. I got a spy report. Magic City, our favorite show, will get the proper ending with a feature film.
Wow.
A feature film. Mitch Glazer is got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Danny Houston, Kelly Lynch, Bruce Willis.
What?
And Bill Murray.
Whoa.
Wow.
What?
That's huge.
Those sets were amazing, too. I mean, they're going to have to rebuild them, or they still got them?
That you'll have to read on the iBang once we get it put up. We got to get moving and grooving. Hi, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hiya, Fezzie.
Who's this?
Chuckwagon. Are you going to...
See,
Chuckwagon!
you think everybody fucking knows you. You're an asshole friend of the other asshole who's on the line, Polo.
He is the greatest guy in the world, Chuckwagon. I'm not even going to say how...
Then go live with him.
Hi, Polo. I think our plan's working.
we have... This is so long running to drive him insane, right?
Why would you think that's funny, Paul?
No, seriously.
It just proves what I've been saying all along. Polo's not a nice person. He does not have my best interest at heart.
Chuckwagon is honestly one of the nicest guys in the world, and he loves Fez. But honestly, Fez...
The Food Network found out he was a scumbag.
He pushes people away. That's the problem. Anybody who really likes him gets too close to him, and Chuckwagon is a perfect example. Pushes him away.
I was never close to Chuckwagon.
You used to go running with him every Thanksgiving.
I met him 1 year at Thanksgiving at a very public 5K race. And the asshole turns into some sort of weirdo stalker like Paulo did.
Now,
as a matter of fact, Chuckwagon had something really good happen to him, but I'm not even going to say what it is.
Because I already gave it away. Now, 5K race, is that 5,000?
It's 5,000 meters.
I thought it was $5,000.